Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Week 46 and final one for this season, a League 2 review. Bradford City are promoted up into League 1 automatically with a 96th minute winner. Walsall picked up their first win since February. Chesterfield snuck into the playoffs on the final day as well. There's a lot of drama for us to go through and review. There was also a lot of nothing games which didn't really mean too much, but we'll still speak about them all. If you do go on to enjoy it, make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. For the final time this season, can we try and hit 220 likes on today's video? That'd be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below on your team's season on the whole and all that sort of stuff. There'll be an explanation coming out in the next coming weeks as well for those fans still of League 2 clubs about what's going to happen with content and all that sort of stuff. I'm still not 100% sure what I want to do because I've got a couple different YouTube channels and a couple different options and directions we could potentially go in, but I'll get a full video out in the next coming weeks or so. Let me just enjoy the promotion for now. Chesterfield made it into the playoffs on the final day of the season with a 1-0 win away at Accrington Stanley. Obviously, Accrington didn't really have much to play for this game where it was all still on the line for Chesterfield. I think they needed a couple of the results to go in their favour. It looked like in terms of shots and stuff, it was quite an even game, but Chesterfield did dominate possession, and obviously they did make it in on the final day. They've been on some really good form over the last 10 or 15 games, so 19 points picked up out of their last possible 30 available, just one defeat in their last 10 as well. So fair play to Paul Cook and his side. There was a point where I think they lost away to Walsall and he basically said, that's it, the season's over. They've managed to make it in on the final day. 70 points, got you 7th this season, only 8 points off of Autos as well, so they'll go away to they'll be at home, won't they? Yeah, Chesterfield will be at home in the first leg. Sorry, I malfunctioned a little bit there. I'm still not fully recovered from the celebrations on Saturday night, but obviously it'll be Chesterfield versus Walsall, and then it will be Notts versus Wimbledon, and obviously vice versa as more time does go on into the second leg. But congratulations to Chesterfield for a first season back in the EFL. They have had a really good season, so fair play to them and best of luck in the playoffs. On to more important matters though. Bradford City won at Fleetwood at Town 0. Anthony Sarcevic, it has still technically gone down as an Anthony Sarcevic goal, but it is clearly an own goal off the Fleetwood player. What a dire game of football for 90 minutes. Absolutely tragic. We had some opportunities, but nothing really clear cut. They had a brilliant chance in the first half, produced a great save out of Sam Walker, but we have just been promoted in the most Bradford City way possible. Around the 90th minute, Jack Shepherd hit the post. Then Jack Shepherd had one cleared off the line where the keeper wasn't even in the goal. Then a couple of minutes after that, 94th, 95th minute, Anthony Sarcevic has a brilliant opportunity, unmarked, 4 or 5 yards out, puts it over the bar. And you just think, when them two moments happen, Walsall are winning, it is not going to be our day. We are going to fall into the playoffs. And then it is one of the worst goals you will ever see. Tommy Lee sends the ball long. Neil Byrne challenges for the header. It drops to George Lapsley. Chest and volley towards goal. It's clearly going wide. Sarson and Fleetwood defender are following it in. It just hits off of a Fleetwood player and ends up p-rolling into the bottom corner. It is absolute carnage. There's thousands of fans on the pitch. The full-time whistle's still not gone. Sarson's got his shirt off. He'd already been booked, so everybody thought that he'd been sent off, but the referee probably just completely forgot about that. There was a big 10 or 15 minute delay to get the fans back off the pitch, but what a moment, what an achievement. And obviously we needed to win this game. Our home form has been outstanding this season. It wasn't quite as comfortable as what I was hoping it would be, but after 46 games, Bradford City are third. Why does it not say that we're promoted? Port Vale have qualified for League 1, so have Bradford City. Come on, flash scores, get your finger out. We actually only finished 2 points off of Port Vale in the end, which to say about our horrendous recent run where we bottled it against Swindon, we threw a lead away against Notts County, threw a 2-goal lead away against Chesterfield, lost to Doncaster and got another stupid red card in that one, to get promoted in the manner that we did, on the day that we did as well, as we remembered the 56, to score in the 96th minute, 40 years on from the Bradford City fire. 96 take away 40 is 56. You cannot get anything more just perfectly. The stars are all aligned for Bradford City. It was our day. We've had so many years of hurt and heartbreak and pain, misery, suffering, and we've now finally got our moment. We're back amongst the big boys in League 1. We've got to go again next season. There's going to be a big summer rebuild, but absolutely brilliant. As for Fleetwood, I'm glad that we kind of did them over on one. I'll say a massive credit to their fans for the way they observed the minute silence and were applauding during the 56th minute. Big credit to them. But the way their team played, I don't understand why you're time wasting in the 8th minute at 0-0. They clearly came to ruin our party, which I have no problems with, but you've got nothing to play for. Why not try and express yourselves? Phoenix Patterson, I've mentioned it the other week over on the main channel, top player. I thought he had a really good game. Apart from that, not really much quality in that Fleetwood side. But who cares about Fleetwood, right? Bradford City were a League One football club. Good God, this is going to be a long day. Bromley beat Cheltenham 3-0. Two mid-table sides, doesn't really mean all too much. Bromley have had a great season. Did Michael Cheek end up on the score sheet? He did, he got a brace, so fair play to him. He's definitely surely won the Golden Boot this season, but like I say, Bromley Cheltenham, it's two mid-table sides, it means nothing really. Carlisle bottled a 2-goal lead as Salford missed out on the playoffs on the final day. I think I'm right in saying Salford were 7th going into the final game of the season, but a quick fire double from Carlisle, 2 goals in 2 minutes, sent Mike Hughes' side ahead after just 16 and then 17 minutes. Cole Stockton would pull a goal back just before half-time, before Keith Badulican would equalise just after the hour mark. You look at the players involved in the goal. Stockton and Adulican scoring, Woodburn and Namai getting the assist as well. That is some real firepower for this level. But Salford, they couldn't find a winner in this one, and it did mean that they missed out on the playoffs on the final day. There's a lot of if, buts, maybe moments. Obviously, Chesterfield do have a better goal difference, so Salford would have needed to win this game. After back-to-back wins against Morecambe and Colchester, they're absolutely flying. They've scored another couple of goals in this one. Is it 9 goals, I think, in their last 3 matches? Unfortunately, though, their bad start has cost them in the end, and Salford have missed out on the playoffs. So all the best to them next season. I think they're going to lose some of their better players this summer, so it'll be interesting to see how Kyle Robinson does go about replacing them. Colchester and Barrow played out a 0-0 draw. Kyle Cameron was sent off with around 15 or so minutes left on the clock, but a bit of a nothing game really. Looking at the statistics, a lot of shots but not really many on target for either side. In terms of Colchester, if they did win this game, they wouldn't have made it into the playoffs anyway. They would have fallen a point short there. Last 4 matches really have cost them finishing in the playoffs, drawing with Crewe, then losing to Doncaster and getting a hammering off of Salford, before now only drawing with Barrow. Obviously, they've not really scored too many goals recently either, just 1 goal in the last 4 matches, which doesn't look great. They're clearly suffering with a little bit of injury at the top end of the pitch at this moment in time. But you look at the team, it's not awful. Yes, they're missing the likes of Awer Edwards and Lyle Taylor, for example, but Jack Payne's still in there. Tyler Smith, nice to see him playing well for Barrow. If there is any Barrow fans watching, let me know down below. Do you want to see your club sign Tyler Smith on a permanent basis going into the summer? He still does have a year left on his contract with Bradford City, but because Chesterfield won, this result actually doesn't mean all too much. Walsall finally won a football match. I think their first league victory since the end of February, where they beat Morecambe away from home. It might have been Chesterfield at home, one of them at 2 matches. George Hall scoring the only goal of the game on the 59th minute, and Crewe have just been embarrassing over the last 5 or 10 matches, haven't they? They have been terrible. I think this game finished a couple of minutes before the Bradford game, so it's quite funny to see the Walsall players asking their fans, are we promoted? And then the news trickles onto the pitch that obviously Sars scored in the 96th minute, and you see the Walsall players, they're absolutely distraught, heads in their hands, falling to the floor. It's absolutely brilliant viewing for pretty much the fan of any other League 2 club, because come January, Walsall fans were celebrating like they'd already won the league. But a league title isn't won after 25, 30 matches. It's won after 46. There's a reason why Walsall have fallen in the playoffs. I think it's just like 3 wins or something since January. They have been absolutely terrible, and this is the best that they've deserved, really, because you are where you finish after 46 games. Everybody, when you don't quite achieve what you want to achieve, looks at what if that happened, or what if this happened potentially. But every club has that. If you got that goal or that extra point somewhere else, then Bradford could also look and be like, well, if we got that equaliser away at Walsall when Clark had all missed an open goal, that could have got us into automatics if it would have been the other way around. So it is all if, buts and maybes. They have finished in 4th, and they will go away to Chesterfield for their first leg. It is good for them that they're going in there with a slight bit of form. At least they've won a football match. They've got that burden off their back a little bit, and it will give them a little bit of confidence. But Chesterfield have been absolutely flying recently, and anybody who's ever watched the EFL playoffs will know any team that goes into it with any slight bit of form normally ends up winning it. If I was a betting man, all my money will be going on Chesterfield right now. AFC Wimbledon beat Grimsby Town 1-0 away from home. Sam Hutchinson scoring the only goal of the game in the 52nd minute. Wimbledon recently have been conceding goals, not really scoring too many, but this is the Wimbledon that we have come to expect. Winning a lot of games 1-0, and it has been a really disappointing end to the season for Grimsby. At one point, it looked like they were nailed on for the playoffs, but just 3 points picked up out of their last possible 15 available. They were only 2 points off of being level with 7th, but they had a 25 worse goal difference, so they would have needed at least another 3 points, but to only pick up 3 points out of your last 5 matches is absolutely tragic. Another disappointing defeat for them in here. Obviously, they've come on leaps and bounds from last season. They'll be looking to go again next season. I think they will lose a few of their better players, the likes of Denver Hume, for example, and maybe even McEachran in the midfield, potentially a Danny Rose. Who knows? There's some other players in there that could also leave. I guess only time will tell, but a few too many losses in there. 18 defeats, the most out of the entire top 14 teams. They need to turn a few of them losses into draws going into next season. They weren't a million miles away. They just hit a bad run at a bad time. Great though for Wimbledon. Again, they'd been on a pretty bad run of form recently. They'll obviously go to away to Notts County in the next coming days as well, and it'll be interesting to see who gets the better of each other in that one, because obviously it's two very contrasting styles of play. Wimbledon had been on a bad run of form, so similar to Walsall. I mean, obviously it's not as bad as their form, but nice for them to go into the playoffs with a little bit of momentum. Harrogate beat Morecambe 2-1. Doesn't really matter. Harrogate have already survived. Morecambe, they're already relegated. Unfortunately, they will be playing in the National League next season, but again, that doesn't really mean all too much. Similar can be said about Tranmere 4, Newport 1. Again, doesn't really matter. Both teams are going to be playing in League 2 next campaign. Newport got a red card. Tranmere have ended the season very well under Andy Crosby, and it'll be interesting to see how they do go about rebuilding for next season, because I think they're definitely going to need to get a lot of players out the door, even some that are still contracted for next season. It might require them being paid off a little bit, and obviously they'll bring in a new influx of player as well. But them 2 games, they literally mean nothing, so I'm not going to speak about them. One game that did matter though, Doncaster Rovers secured the league title with a 2-1 win away at Notts County. Another home defeat for Notts against anyone really. They've been terrible at home so far this season. Another brace for Rob Street. If he'd have been here for the full season, Doncaster would have easily hit 100 points. I mean, he is an absolutely top striker for this division. I think he's going to be starting week in, week out for Lincoln City in League 1 at next campaign. He's got it all. He's got a bit of strength about him, bit of height, bit of pace, decent first touch, good finisher as well. He is a top player, and for what we've all seen on social media all week, the Donny Rovers players have been out on the lash until, I mean, has Joe Sabara gone home at all? Since Doncaster secured promotion against Bradford City, has Sabara been anywhere other than a variety of different pubs in Doncaster? Not 100% sure, but congratulations to Grant McCann. He's obviously had a real tough run at it, not even in football, in life over the last couple of weeks, losing his mum. I can't imagine how that must have felt for him. So to still go again and win the league title, I'm sure he's absolutely delighted with that. And as for Notts County, another real disappointing defeat and a goal for Alassana Jatta, but you don't want to be going into the playoffs off of a defeat, and especially when you've only won 1 of your last 5. Like I mentioned previously, Chesterfield are the team that I'm certainly backing to go up through the playoffs at this moment in time. Notts, they've got the players, but their manager is just tragic, isn't he? Stuart Maynard. I will never let him live that down if Notts don't end up getting promoted, and he obviously shushed Bradford City while we're already in League 1. They've still got a few more weeks of pain and misery. Congratulations to Doncaster Rovers on the title, thoroughly deserved it. The best team that I've seen over both games this season. And with Doncaster winning, the Port Vale versus Gillingham result was largely irrelevant. Port Vale did lose again. Their players have been out on the lash all week. The likes of Nathan Smith and Lawrence Alive have certainly seen better days. I assume there was changes made in this one. Not really, to be fair. It is a pretty strong side on the whole for Port Vale. Arguably their main team, really, apart from you probably have Stockley in over Curtis. You might have Garrity in the midfield, but on the whole, that is pretty much a full-strength side. Fair play, though, to Gareth Ainsworth and Gillingham. I think Gillingham have finally got a manager in who's going to make them the club that they should have been since their new owners did come in. You give him a full summer, and I think they're going to be certainly a favourite for top 7, if not top 3 next year. So good luck to Gareth Ainsworth and Gillingham. As for Port Vale, the result didn't matter because Doncaster won anyway. So even if Port Vale did win, it would have just taken them a little bit closer, but they wouldn't have actually won the title. So yeah, fair play to Port Vale. I think I predicted them to finish second at the start of the season. They've gone and finished second. Bounced back at the first time of asking, I'm sure, in next year when they're going away to Bolton and Reading and Cardiff. They're not going to care about this game whatsoever, either. We also had Swindon 0, MK Dons 0. Wonderful news. In terms of where the league table then has finished on the whole, it has been... I'm not interested in the playoffs. Show me the table. There we go. This is how your League 2 table has finished then for the 2024-25 season. Doncaster, Port Vale and Bradford promoted automatically into League 1. Walsall, Wimbledon, Notts County and Chesterfield all make it into the playoffs. And then Carlisle and Morecambe also relegated as well. Newport finishing 22nd in the end. Tranmere up in 20th after it looking like they'd be down for the large part of this season, not just down and around, they're down, going relegated. Morecambe, they've ended the season tragically. They finished 13 points away from safety. You're never going to stay up with just 36 points, just 10 wins all season. Carlisle, comfortably the biggest budget in the division. I think they've got like 3 times the budget of anybody else, and they've also gone down with a bit of a whimper, 7 points from safety in the end. Carlisle fans, let me know down below, are you wanting to keep Mark Hughes on for next season? And in between Newport and Salford, there's a lot of inconsistency, mediocrity, and anything else that comes with that. It'll be interesting to see who is up and around there next season in the League 2 promotion race. I'm not going to have to worry about that because we are in League 1. How wonderful. There's going to be a lot of League 1 content with me obviously being a Bradford fan. The League 2 content might stay, it might go. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you so much for your support on this season, on the League 2 review as well. Obviously, I only brought that in over the last couple of months or so, and you guys have absolutely loved it. This one has probably been the worst episode in terms of actual analysis and all that sort of stuff, but who cares? We are finally out of this God-forsaken, forbidden division, whatever you want to call it. I think I might still be suffering from some of the effects from Saturday night, potentially. Who cares? We're a League 1 football club. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, 220 likes, and I'll see you all next season for a League 1 review.